Hi, how are you? I'm Sue and I'm the coordinator of Contemporary Māori Writers and Writing, and quite possibly the tutor on the course as well. So far we've discussed background considerations in Block 1, which led to the rise of contemporary Māori writers and writing, and in the previous chapter of this ebook we've talked about violence in Māori literature, because it's been one of those things that has actually stirred up a lot of discussion and had a lot of impact. We would also like you to consider the global impact of Māori literature and Māori writers. Now, some people say why, and the answer to that is because when we sort of think about something from its very start, that is the writer themselves, and think about what they wanted to achieve and how they achieved it, and then the impact of their goals, then we start to get a broader understanding of what it's all about and what it means in regard to our connections with the wider world, but also in regard to who we are as writers and what we want to achieve. We can sort of see that this writer did one thing and it worked in a particular way, and we might think that's the model I want to follow too, or we might think, no thank you, I don't want to do that at all. So it's a kind of a dual-edged thing. It's a personal thing, so you can begin to reflect on what other people have done as relevant to you and what you want to achieve, but also in the broader context of what it's meant to other people around the world. If we think about what does it mean to other people, take a step back and think about writing for what it really is. It's about communication. So whether a story is complete fiction, completely made up, something highly imaginative and sort of out of this world or whatever, or whether it's a factual based story which is based on someone's life, or whether it's a factual based thing based on someone's opinion, as with an essay, the whole point underlying whatever it is that the writer wants to communicate something. And so when we communicate, that's always a two-way thing. I, for instance, might want to sit here and think, I want to get across to you how important this is to me. But if you don't hear it, if you don't listen to my words, or no one does read my words or anything like that, then my communication is incomplete. It's not actually communication. It's just me talking into the air. And so it's important to understand that any kind of written communication must have a reader at the other end. And that reader will respond in some way. And so the response might be, I didn't know that, I've learned something. Or it might be, I don't agree with that because that doesn't fit with my experience. Or it might be, as a result of reading this, I'm going to go and do something different. Who knows? Or whatever the response might be is going to be highly dependent on the kind of writing. In context of this course, when we talk about the global impact of contemporary Māori writers and writing, I want you to think about that and think about this kind of communication that's gone out and the impact that it's had and the responses of people. You can, if you wish, choose one particular book or publication and talk about the impact that that's had, but I'm quite happy just for a more general discussion if you would like to do that. So as an example of specific, you might say that, for instance, Once Were Warriors by Alan Duff stirred up a massive amount of controversy and a lot of discussion, and it shed light on what was a fairly dark corner of New Zealand society and enabled worldwide discussion about the needs of people who had been impoverished for generations because of colonialism. So, that's one kind of approach you can take. Or you can just take the more general approach which says, writing by Māori writers has actually shown the world who we are, that New Zealand isn't just a country of sheep farmers or just a pretty little city up around a few harbours in Auckland I'm talking about, or it's not just kiwi fruit or whatever, that we're actually a lot more than that and a lot more complex and interesting. So that's one global impact, is that we've been able to share more of ourselves with the world so that they know who we are. And by doing that, that means that other ethnic groups who are perhaps under the colonial thumb a little bit still, or have been trod down for different reasons, will look at how Māori writers have sort of explained our stories and how we've done things, and it's going to give them hope and insight, perhaps, on how they can move forward too. So the global impacts can actually be quite powerful. When our writers are invited to go and speak at different places and to different ethnic groups, that makes a huge difference to people. And it can maybe give them hope or give them ideas of how they can move forward and grow as well. So those are the kinds of things that I'm talking about when I say about global impacts. You can take an absolutely specific approach about how one book has affected, what it meant, for instance, when Carrie Holm won the Booker Prize with her book, The Bone People, or what it meant in just a more general sense. It's over to you how you approach it. This little video I've just sort of kind of gabbled through some very basic general things, but please read the journal articles below the video for some more detailed, thoughtful comment by people who are sharing their opinions and insights. The language is a little bit formal in them both, for which I apologise, but if you can stick with it and just take your time to read through and reflect on what's being said, you will gain a lot from what the writers have to say. And when it comes to writing your assessments, just be comfortable expressing your own understanding of what the global impacts are. I'm not looking for some kind of highly formal written essay or anything. I'm really just looking for you to share your opinion, your insights, your understanding in a way that is readable and engaging and gives me something to think about as well. Have a crack. If you want any advice or feedback on your work in progress, please remember I'm here to help, or your tutor is here to help. Post your work to the forums, say by the 3rd week of the block, to give the tutor time to read through your work and to give useful feedback, and kind of enjoy the process. I do say that a lot about assessment work, for which I should apologise probably, but I think there's something really cool about being able to think about things that mean something to you and then to write them up in your own words. So enjoy reading the journal articles. I think that once you get past the style and just realise what people are saying, you'll find them hugely helpful and informative. Cheers.